This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.
All right, welcome everybody. This is the Monday, October 21st, 2024 meeting of the Easthampton Energy Advisory Committee. Jamie Puckett, the chair of the committee, joined by committee members John Pepe, Connie Dawson, Cassie Eckhoff, Josh Rosenblatt via remote. We do have one guest with us at the moment whose identity will be explained, re-explained again here in a minute. First things first, we need to take a quick review and approval vote for the meeting minutes from the last meeting on September 16th. Anyone have any amendments to the minutes first?
Not the can't wait for, it's not the minutes, it's a question that's raised in the minute. I'll wait till we get to the subject, substantive topic. I
do have a motion to approve the minutes.
As long as we include a line under the open meeting law piece that we aren't to deliberate by email. Okay. Okay.
We're open long.
You're adding that to the minutes?
I am.
Okay.
I know I said it.
Yeah.
Yep.
We will not deliberate via email. Correct.
So at some point, the definition of deliberate at some point, but after we put the minutes.
I can get that off of the mass. I will send you the link to the mass open meeting law.
Yes. No votes.
Okay. Any other amendments or changes to the minutes? Do I have a motion to approve with the one amendment that Cassie made?
I
Second.
A movement and a second. I call Cassie.
I second it.
Josh seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Minutes are passed. Minutes are approved. Be submitted to the city clerk's office. Thank you, Connie, as always, for putting those together, circulating, and handling all that. The public speak. I don't see anybody else here unless, Grace, you want to speak as a member of the public. Otherwise, we can get to your part here in just a moment. Let's see, quick committee updates. Just to update you all on the Bees Committee. We actually haven't met in a little while. I think there's going to be a change with Owen becoming the chair of that committee. Sean, who had been the chair, I think is a little bit busy. So we're waiting to sort through all that. They have been doing some outreach, did some invasive plant cleanup and stuff like that as well has been happening. So there's a few things going on there. They've been working more like public outreach and like tabling and stuff like that as well, like finding ideas to get in front of people, get people on their mailing lists. So they've been fairly successful with that so far, but it has been a little while since we've done anything in terms of a committee meeting. So once I have more updates there, I will share them. As far as our green communities and climate leader communities designations, any updates on the green community side for our annual report?
I did send an email to Chris and he said he doesn't know anything and
Okay, this is for the climate leader communities. Mm-hmm. So no movement there. Our application still.
And I haven't seen any updates on their website either. So
okay,
I don't know what that means.
Okay. For our current green communities proposal, anything for our report?
I've been working the last couple of weeks on the Mass Energy Insights database and getting us up to date.
Okay.
I was a little confused. That's where the minutes come in. When Cassie left and we did some orientation about how to work in it, we talked about having us fill in till we talked about having us fill in till the sustainability manager was in place to take that over. The minutes mentioned the conservation agent last night.
Maybe, is that incorrect?
I think well, I don't know if we ever had a vote on that, but I think at least Cassie's idea, I believe, was for us to cover it till sustainability manager. Anyway, I've been working on it for 2 weeks, so
okay.
I just went over to try to meet Ava Girdle, I think the conservation agent just to make sure that we're not doing duplicate work. But I've been working on it for a couple of weeks. It's actually more daunting at first to understand the system and how to enter stuff and update stuff. And it's making progress. We'll be all right for the deadline. Might even have it done by the 1st of November. And I think the deadline is mid-November.
Right.
Mid or late. So
Okay, super. And we don't have
interesting stuff too. Yeah.
any new grant proposals going out under that because we are waiting for the climate leader piece. So thank you all for keeping us posted and John for working on that.
Can I just ask, I mean, it
Yeah.
seems to me, since we don't have a sustainability coordinator, that the conservation agent should be doing this. I don't,
Well, that depends on again, Cassie's job as a conservation agent and what they posted for the current conservation agent, I would imagine are different things.
I understand that, but there is a void in the infrastructure of the city.
There's a lot of
And they
voids.
should have somebody who works for the city completing that report, I think. I don't think it should be the responsibility. I don't think it should be on John's shoulders to complete a formal report.
This is actually not the report. This is just getting our required data updated on the Mass Energy Insights.
Okay,
database. We'll talk about the rest of it. The rest of it is to tell them where we're at with climate leader designation, what's going on with muni aggregation. There's a whole number of items that they want to update on, and I don't think they want elaborate narratives.
Right.
So we can let me get the data in order and we can come back and talk about,
Right.
but that new person's also going to need a lot of, Ava would probably need a lot of background and preparation to get to the point where
Correct.
she knows what she's dealing with.
So
Right, I'm just
Connie, I
thinking
appreciate
of anything formal that's submitted to the state by the city, I think should be done by someone who works for the city.
Well,
That's
technically,
what I'm
we are, doing work for the city in our capacity here. We are volunteers, but
Well,
we are.
Being paid.
Was that Josh?
I said, even though we're not being paid, we are doing work for the city.
You're not being paid, Josh? Oh, sorry.
oh, they missed you.
He missed that meeting. So yeah, I get what you're saying, Connie, but the city is shorthanded in a number of areas right now. And so, it's incumbent upon us as the committee to make sure that this gets done. If that could mean enlisting the conservation agent, she doesn't work. She's not our liaison to the city. It's not really, we don't really have the ability to say, hey, you need to do this for us. Because again, I don't think that was part of the posted position that she applied and was hired for at this point in time. So that's just not, we just have to deal with the void, and the planning department as a whole, right, is doing a lot of voids. So.
No, I'm not sure. My guess is that Cassie didn't just go and fire off a application, the report in an application without running it by somebody, whether it's the person who was the planning director, which is also vacant, but
Yeah.
or the mayor or somebody, or just us.
Or even just working with DOER, or somebody there to go through it.
Right, but in terms of sign off by the community that this is what we want to say, this is what we're inputting and presenting. We can work on clarifying that.
Okay.
I'm not too worried about
Okay.
Okay. As far as the sustainability coordinator position, I believe that still has not been posted yet to the.
Not posted.
Not
I did
posted.
work
Yeah,
on
you were
that
right.
today.
Okay.
Not posted, and I went through the recent city council agendas and I don't see it on it.
Okay.
Was it in fact approved?
I don't know if it has been by the city council yet. That's.
it. I thought we heard last time that it had.
That's,
Somewhere heard that it had been, somebody said.
and I was looking for the job description for something else I'm working on, and so I couldn't find it as an attachment to any of the agendas.
Okay.
So I'm kind of worried, actually.
All right.
Yeah.
Let me check in with Lindsay and the mayor about where that is, because I know the mayor had said that it was going to the city council, and so maybe there's been a holdup for some reason.
Yeah. Well, the job description was definitely written because I remember Cassie telling us that that was done. So that piece of it was
That
definitely
piece of it,
done.
yeah. Now, there's some other moving parts around some of these other programs and things that we'll
Right.
talk about that maybe are we're waiting to see how some of that's going to shake out. I don't know that that's the case, and I don't think it was a holdup, like the coordinator position was going to happen regardless. So let me check with Lindsay in the mayor's office.
Yeah, I'd like to, the grant application is probably for you to identify who in your city is working on these issues.
Okay.
And I'd at least like to be able to include language from the job description.
Right.
Good point.
Okay.
I'm sorry, my back is to you.
All right. Well, speaking of Grace, we'll move on to, and we're going to go a little bit out of order here since she's been able to join us. This is actually the ninth thing. This is the community solar partnership with Sunwealth. You may remember Grace has come before and talked to us about the work that Sunwealth is doing with their community solar, low income or low to moderate income subscribers that they handle for some of it, and they have some updates to provide on some new projects that they have going on. So Grace and I have been in touch, sporadically since she came and addressed, was that back in the spring or late winter or something like that. So we've had a few additional conversations. She's going to keep me posted on what they have going on. They are still interested in doing some outreach within our community. And Grace, what do you tell us about where things are at with that?
Yeah, of course. I do have like a short slide deck and some example mailers, but I'm unable to share my screen, and I'm more than happy to just send those as a follow-up email as well.
Okay.
Especially because this is the second time we're hearing this. But I can give a brief refresher on community solar if people would like that.
I do have some of the things that you've given
Okay.
Nancy, that I've shared with people before. So
Okay, cool.
I don't know that we need the whole community solar rundown. I think maybe just an update on what the projects that you all have going on and kind of where you're at with that.
Perfect. Yeah, so we have one project called Redemption Rock, and it was built as a parking lot canopy in Chatham, Massachusetts. And it's built on the property of a house of worship, and this will be turned on as low to moderate income community shared solar. And as we know, that means that about half the power from the project will go to the church as the anchor off-taker, and the other 50% will be assigned to low to moderate income subscribers across Eversource territory in Massachusetts. This project is expected to turn on at the end of next month, so end of November. But we're required to submit a full list of subscribers before that project begins crediting. Our next project is called Sika 2, and this is expected to turn on at the end of 2024. Maybe pushed to the beginning of 2025. Yep.
Chris, how do you spell that? What's the name of it?
Yeah, the second one is Sika 2, so it's SIKA and then the number 2.
Is that a medical or something?
Sorry?
Does that stand for something, the Sika?
Yeah, so most of our projects are built on schools, nonprofits, houses of worships, or businesses. And so the project called Sika 2 is going to be built on the rooftop of a business in Canton, Mass. And so I'm not overly familiar with Sika, but I believe they do like mechanical parts, kind of a factory of sorts. So this second project is larger than the upcoming one, and it's expected to turn on at the very end of this year. And then moving a little bit more in the distance, we have another project turning on at the end of February 2025. And this one's called the Sportsman's Tennis Center. And so this is solar that will be built on the rooftop of a nonprofit in Dorchester. And then this nonprofit basically provides free or discounted tennis lessons and youth programming to Dorchester residents. So those are our 3 upcoming projects. We have more expected to turn on a little bit later in 2025. And so we're always in support of ongoing outreach, but we figured this would be a great time to potentially send out a mailer that is co-branded with the town of Easthampton or the Energy Committee. I have 4 examples of letters I'm looking at here, but we have sent them with like a municipal co-brand, so a city seal. We've also sent them with the Energy Committee, seal or signature on the letter. And based off the, eligibility requirements, we expect there to be around 1,800 eligible households in Easthampton. And those are folks who live in an income tagged environmental justice zone. So when we, Sunwealth, partner with a nonprofit or a municipality to send a co-branded mailer, we, Sunwealth, will acquire a list of residents who live in this automatically qualified zone. And then together we'll design a mailer that just has some information about the program. Some towns will also include other outreach they're doing at the time. And then we will pay for this mailer to be sent out to residents with, a number to contact me, or if the municipality would like to have, one of your phone numbers on there as well. We'll work together to kind of design that and send that out to kind of share the resources with residents. I'm happy to, answer any questions or talk a bit more about that mailer process. But that's kind of the spiel. And a lot of times we'll also, if we're going to send a mailer out, we'll advertise a webinar on the letter as well. So, if you're interested, but you want to learn more, attend this webinar between, Sunwealth and the city. So folks can ask additional questions.
Okay. And you mentioned these are all Eversource territory projects. And again,
Yes.
So statewide, like geographic proximity is less of a thing these days for community solar, right? So you can be even stuff in Dorchester and Chatham and all that. It's like fine for people to subscribe here, obviously. Okay, so essentially, you would just need like our go ahead to include city logo or committee information or what have you to move forward with that. Connie, what's your?
I'm just curious whether a household that would meet the criteria but doesn't live in the justice zone, would they be eligible to participate?
Yeah, great question. So we will kind of work with an organization or a municipality based off the information they have. And so we're able to get a list of the residents of the environmental justice zone just based off public records.
Right. Yeah.
But if Easthampton, your municipality, has a list of households that are on, a reduced Eversource rate, City of Cambridge actually did have that list. So we were able to then send the mailer to more residents, not just those who qualified based off their address. And Sunwealth doesn't need, we don't need to get access to that list. Well, we would have you guys send it directly to, the mailer provider. But it's a great way to kind of, increase access to this types of information.
So I don't know if we have that information,
I don't know if we
it
do
must
or
be
not.
possible to get it.
Yeah, I mean, certainly when we're going through aggregation, right, they're going to be able to get a list of everything, and they'll probably be able to flag like who's on the reduced, the reduced rate from Eversource, because they're going to get every ratepayer with that. So whether that exists already, I don't know. But I mean, even just targeting the existing environmental justice communities to try to give them access to this, I think could be worthwhile.
We're also happy to, do one wave of the mailer. And then once you gain access to that list, and that's how City of Cambridge had the list, it was through their municipal aggregator.
Right.
We can do almost like a follow-up, a second wave of outreach.
Yeah, and that might be one that we want to do more broadly even, and something, again, maybe in conjunction with some other things that we have going on. So we would do like one targeted for you specifically, like in that area, and then maybe a broader thing across the city that would then highlight, our heat pump programs or, other things like that may be not aggregation because that'll have its own separate set of communication, but that could be worthwhile. Does anyone on the committee kind of go to John?
Yeah, last time we had this discussion, we talked about would we be any scrutiny or criticism or complaints from other private sector community solar parties or others about co-branding, and it wasn't clear to me. I don't think it's obvious what the answer to that is, and I think we might want to be talking to our city solicitor, but I did volunteer to go talk to Cambridge, and I had a conversation with this manager over there. I can't remember her title, Megan Shaw, I think it was general manager.
Yes.
How they handled it. Concerned about any legal liability or accusations of, favoritism or something like that.
Right.
So her answer was that there are three things they had done in Cambridge. Three types of contracts. One is arrangements. One is they have Energy Sage. I don't know if it's like, they're advertising Energy Sage or they're appearing on Energy Sage's website or what it is, but because Energy Sage was the program was funded with federal money, and Energy Save was vetted and went through a competitive process or whatever with federal government to do that they were all fine with. They were fine with that one. The second one was they have a company, I don't remember the name of it, that's supposed to be doing community outreach in the community to get people to sign up for community solar, and that one.
You may be thinking of All In Energy. It's a nonprofit.
I think they said that one was competitively bid. Yes, I remember that. She said that one was competitively bid. The third thing
And what did they?
let me just finish this one back. The third one is what Sunwealth is engaged with Cambridge on, the co-branding. And what she said is that they went through Sunwealth's contract and offering to residents and just examined it for best practices and what would provide the most consumer protection, and got some revisions to the contract that was available to their satisfaction, that they could put the city's name on it. And so I thought that it might be that we all like to do this, but we also have to know how to answer the questions if we start having other vendors get wind of it and start complaining about it. So I would just suggest we run it by city solicitor and tell them what we know about what another city has done to handle this, and give them the phone number and say, call up Megan Shea yourself if you have, any concerns or doubts about it. This is how they address the issues. So
I think that's John, I think that's a good idea. My initial thought was going to be, it's a good idea to talk to the solicitors. My initial thought was going to be, we wouldn't necessarily be stepping on anyone's toes, because I'm not aware of any other solar outfits out there that are gearing themselves for lower income brackets. But then I thought of all the people who go and get people just to sign up to let them put panels on their roof. And if we're taking business away from people like that, I think that's a good thing. So, I just see so many people who I know are just getting snookered because they've got way oversaturated roof that's in the shade a lot of the times on a sunny day. And I know that they didn't pay anything for those, but they're not getting reaping the benefits of it.
Yeah, we can have, there's certainly a debate to be had, but I agree. Community solar is a net good. It's, generally speaking, larger scale projects are more economical. They can be more democratic in the sense that everybody can take advantage of them. You're not subject to the whims of a specific company or installation or anything like that. So there are definitely a lot of advantages, a lot of reasons that I love community solar and want to promote it. But Connie, go ahead.
Oh, well, I just was curious whether John had received a copy of the contract then.
no, but I thought of it just today that I should get a hold of her and ask if we can see it, or maybe
I'm happy to send a copy.
get her hand on it.
Yeah, so we the city of Cambridge, you're completely correct. They vetted our contract, and we basically tried to make it as customer friendly as possible. So I think we updated, it's free cancellation at any point. We didn't have an enrollment fee before, but no enrollment fee and no cancellation fee. And I forgot to mention, all of these upcoming projects all offer a 25% discount, which is 5% higher than the one we had last spoken about. And I'm more than happy to send in a follow-up a copy of our contract, just so you can all review it. And then also a copy of some of example letters, so you can see what we've done and you know who we've done it with. We do work with Energy Sage, which is, like you mentioned, a marketplace, and so people can go on and compare our projects to other providers, and we're more than happy to work, you know, in tandem with other providers instead of opposed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and just to be clear, the contract that we're talking about is your contract with each subscriber, not like a contract between you and the city of Cambridge, right? I assume that was more just sort of a tacit understanding. Did you have anything specific contractually with the city of Cambridge, or no?
No, they have chosen to work with us because of the reasons that were, you know, mentioned earlier, but also because we're a Cambridge-based company, and we're that low to moderate income provider. Right. So we have a big focus on language access and, you know, accessibility to the resource in the first place. But we have, you know, with the nonprofit Mass Energize, we have applied and, you know, submitted an application for a request for proposal to work with them and do mailers with them in the past. So we're familiar with that. You know, we're happy to be flexible with the requirements of your solicitor and community.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So as far as like next steps, you can send that over to us. We can share that. I think, you know, I want to get the mayor and the solicitor just to take a quick look and sign off, say, you know, hey, it's okay if you want to use the city's name, or if we want to just keep it with the committee, or what the preference is there. And you mentioned, you know, projects coming online, one end of next month, another one end of this year. So, you know, probably what would be your ideal timeline for getting a mailer out? Yeah.
So I think, you know, because this next project is coming on, you know, soon, it's end of next month, I would say it would be best to try to get this mailer out with the next project, SECA 2, in mind. We do have a large project that just went online and is experiencing some churn just because of, you know, the wait time for it. So I think the minute we send the mailer out, we'll be able to enroll some people, you know, as soon as possible. But that end of 2024 project is a good thing to keep in mind. Obviously, we don't want people on the wait list for, you know, 4 or 5 months. So if we can send it out in, you know, November or early December, that could go well with the SECA 2 project.
Okay. But yeah, when you do get expressions of interest from people, you are able to put them on a wait list until something opens up with one. And that can be with any project, right? They don't have it. So if something opens up earlier with some of the cancellation somewhere else, you could get them in there. I mean, everything's. When you sign people up, do you figure out the size of their need at that time? So then
so our process is someone, you know, submits an interest form, calls us, emails us, or we speak with them in person. And the first thing we'll ask for is a copy of a recent Eversource bill. And that's because we want to see, you know, their recent electricity usage. So before anyone even signs a contract, we'll give them, you know, a first year savings estimate so they can see, you know, in numbers what this program might do for their specific energy burden.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great.
To Josh's point, I just checked the CEC Clean Energy Center site on community solar, and you pop in a zip code and they give you local community solar projects, and there's like 6 in Western Mass essentially, or within, you know, 50 miles of here. But I don't think they're organized like Sunwealth is to really do the outreach, and you're not actually the project developer, right? You work with project developers.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, we fund the projects, and then once they're turned on and generating electricity, we do the ongoing kind of management and support. And so I do a lot of our partnership development, but I'm also supporting enrollment and speaking with people on the phone. So that people won't be stuck on a dial tone if they have questions.
Thanks.
Okay, great. I think, yeah. Did you have something else, Josh?
No, I just said great.
So yeah, Grace, you can send, additional information. Like I said, I've got some of the ones you shared before, but definitely send that over and the contract that we can share internally here with the mayor's office, and try to get that approved, and then we get that, and again, it sounds like we can just get sort of the thumbs up without having to go through a protracted contract negotiation or anything like that, and then we can work on getting a mailer put together, and you all can start, getting the list together from there.
Awesome. Yeah.
When it's determined whether a family is eligible for this, it's based on people who live in Easthampton. Is that correct? Or is it the whole state?
So it's the whole state, or at least, so we're working through the Solar Massachusetts Renewable Target Program. It's called the SMART program.
Okay.
And so our projects get federal funding through, Inflation Reduction Act. It's their big renewable energy infrastructure bills. And so we're looking to the state for their guidelines on what signify someone as low income. So it's if someone lives in an income tagged environmental justice zone, and happy to send, I think Jamie has the link to the map, which shows you.
Right. Yeah.
There's 1,800 households who are shown to be living in those zones in Easthampton. And then the second one is the reduced Eversource rate, which they don't have to live in an EJ zone. Yeah, it's either or.
State median income.
Okay.
Sort of
All right. So that's really how we could find out where people who don't necessarily live in the EJ community are likely to be eligible, just from the Eversource information, if we can get it. Okay, thank you.
And those that are in the environmental justice zones are not income limited, right? Just the fact that they live there means that they're eligible, no matter what they're. Okay. All right. Any other questions, clarifications, things?
Awesome.
Yeah. Thanks for piece this all together and get something out maybe before end of November, early December.
Sounds great. Yeah, anyone is welcome to reach out with any questions or clarifications, and I'll send that email off today. Thank you so much for your time. Yeah, it's great to see you.
Grace. Thank you.
All right. Moving on to.
Where's the bathroom here? Is it this floor or upstairs?
It's up there. You want to pause for a minute?
No.
Okay.
I'll be right back. What are we on?
We're on number 4. We're going to do number 4 now. Climate action plan.
Oh, wait.
Okay. So let's see. I know that in some of the discussions with other stuff, we're starting to put some things into action with the climate action plan. Again, I still don't know if there's ever been like a press release or anything else around that. Still might be worth doing, or especially as we get some of these other things up and running, so a good joint thing, and like promoting how they are part of the climate action plan that we've put together. But in the meantime, Cassie has put together with EDIC, we'll start talking about a business recognition plan. So why don't you take us through that and what you have so far?
Let's see. Well, I distributed the draft of it.
It's great, by the way.
That's nice of you to say. Thank you. And let's see. I know Connie hasn't looked at it.
I'm so sorry. Just talk about it. I will look at it.
Basically, the goal is just to put together a program that recognizes businesses for adopting green practices. And the committee had the idea. They were very taken with Vera Cruzana and their takeaway plates. And they thought maybe best practices should be highlighted on the website so other businesses could see how easy it is to implement some of these. I thought that was a pretty good idea. And so I put together the list of participation criteria, which I definitely want your input on. And so I just want to make sure that the list of criteria is complete.
Can I ask a question about the criteria, list of criteria?
Please.
And are we going to, I mean, this is, I think what you put together is kind of high level, which is good, but are we going to be able to recognize people if they have done things partially or like are working towards it? Like if they don't have a fully electric fleet, but like half of their fleet's electric, or they compost half of the food that they waste, or like, are we going to put up what's the word I'm looking for?
Barriers?
Yeah.
Levels. I thought about levels. And it seems like it would be more work to administer a level-based program. Because then if somebody starts with, compostable placeware and then graduates to solar panels, man, I mean, that's a lot of administrative crap just to deal with, to be honest. And really, the idea is to set the bar low so that people start adopting practices, not to make it wicked strict,
Right.
to discourage participation.
Good.
So let's start with this. We have some criteria here, but where does this start? Right? Does it start with edict? Does it start with us? Who potentially identifies businesses, or businesses raise their own hand to be identified? Is there? Edict, I think, has a lot of shared concerns with this committee. There was a lot of time spent talking about electric vehicle chargers on Main and Union. So there's some shared interests. And, I don't know if there's some way we want to formalize a periodic, meeting of the minds type thing. Mm-hmm.
It is Edict doing it because there's a participant that's on the Chamber of Commerce, not Congress. And he thinks that what we could do is have it be sponsored jointly by the Chamber and by Edict, which I think is kind of cool.
Yeah, I agree.
And he's willing to help take the lead with the Chamber and help with communications. So that's a big hoo-ha, I thought.
Okay. So let's say that happens, and the edict and the Chamber, again, we've got some criteria. Is it going to be like different categories? Is it going to be like an energy category, a food category? Is it, EV, or is it just it's just kind of an umbrella?
Once you start differentiating, then you start adding to the overhead costs, because stickers cost money, So, and it makes it more complicated. So if if the city wants a complex program, which I wouldn't be opposed to, certainly, then they're going to need to cough up staff and bucks, and I don't think they have either.
Yeah,
I'm thinking of a business though that, buying solar panels many years ago, they were $1,000 a pop. What if someone can't afford to do every single thing that we've got on there? Is it just?
No, you'd only have to do one.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, it's not all of these things. It's just check one box.
Oh, that's great.
I thought it'd be really cool to reach out to businesses that are already employing sustainable practices, because we'd be able to say, here, look what we have for you for free. And how often do we get to do that in the community?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. I mean, it's simple is better. I think if you can highlight, if it's just like one thing at a time, hey, this company is doing this one thing really well, and we want to congratulate them. We want to hold it out as an example for the larger community. I think that's perfectly fine. We don't need a whole complicated set of criteria. You got to do this bucket and this bucket and this bucket kind of thing.
Yeah.
No, I don't want a vacant storefront kind of ordinance. No. And also the committee felt that it wouldn't even need to go to the mayor for approval or anything. They just thought that at public speak at city council, we could just announce it and leave it with that.
Yeah, I mean, again, the Chamber of Commerce is a separate group, right? So if they end up being sort of like the lead, like the designee or whatever, then that wouldn't require city approval, right? They can do that on their own. If they want to do it with our input, that's great.
So what I was tasked to do was flush this out in more detail. The Weston and Sampson graphics there's one particular one that's really a good one, and adding climate action partner on it would fit within the design. So I have an inquiry into Weston and Sampson to find out if we're allowed to use it like that, if we can appropriate it, and if we can make modifications to the design.
Awesome.
So that's that.
That sounds wonderful. Really wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is all great.
Going.
Okay, you got it.
You know, because the other thing that it would be really useful to do is there are some companies in Easthampton that are like really actively trying to do stuff. And it would be so great to like even like have a show on the cable channel or something, talking to some of these people who are already doing so much. I mean, just thinking down the road,
Yeah.
it would be another way to highlight them. It'd be great advertising for them.
Right. Do a quick video on it and post it online on their page or like the city's.
Yeah. I think that sounds
City have a TikTok.
terrific. I mean, the fact that EDIC wants to do this also warms my heart because we need help.
I was actually very surprised by their level of interest.
Very exciting.
Well, it's nice to be able to recognize it, right? To be able to positive. Right, and say, hey, again, walk in and say, hey, here's something free we can do for you. It's going to positively impact our community, and you're going to get your name out there, in some way associated with doing something.
Yeah.
Can't argue. Anything else for us to discuss now? That's great. If not, you can throw it over there and come back, and if and when it's time to nominate or deliberate on specific companies or criteria, whatever, happy to do that.
Oh, and I did look at the graphics, Cassie. They're great. I like the way they just simple and easy.
Yeah, easy. And the graphic encompasses everything that's Easthampton, the mills, the pond.
You already have a draft advertisement?
We have a seal from Weston and Sampson.
Okay.
There's a link in her document.
Oh, I missed that. Okay.
If you click on graphics,
The word graphics, yeah.
Under proposal, that's not the right place to look.
Yeah, you were just in the document I saw. So if you click on where it says graphics, it'll take you to.
And I'll look at it later.
And
it's good.
it's very beautiful.
Yeah, I think that's not plan, right?
Just accidentally hit this screen.
Not that one.
Yeah, you want the open meeting like that, John. Okay, there we go.
Nice. Okay, good. Well, we'll look forward to hearing about the next step, the next phase of that.
Cool.
That's cool.
I have to leave in 10 minutes.
You have to leave in 10
And
minutes.
I would like us to consider meeting on a different day of the week because
Then
it is
Mondays?
going to be an issue for me
Okay.
every time we meet.
All right, well, let's hold up for a second until John comes back. We'll try to speed run through some stuff.
Can we talk about, or at least you and I talk about the grant application?
Yeah, I want to get to that. I'll do a real quick aggregation thing and then we're going to get into that
Okay.
next. And everything else is less.
Getting a little hairy.
Now, what are
Harry.
you talking? What?
Hold on, we're not
allowed to do that. Okay.
we're not officially working through anything yet. Just gonna let John.
Are we in quorum now?
We're still a quorum.
So let's keep going.
Let's keep going. All right. Good. The aggregation stuff is easy. It's fair enough. All right. Aggregation has been sent to DPU. DPU is now requiring us to do our public notice period for the next phase. So as of by the end of this week, the city will have stuff posted on their website. Good Energy is posting things to the program website, the Easthampton Community Electricity.com. All the required public notices, things are going in the papers in the Boston paper and the Gazette. required for that. So getting all that part out of the way. And then DPU is holding a public hearing on the Easthampton aggregation plan on November 20th. The mayor has been invited to and accepted that invitation.
Wait, is that going to be in Boston? Where are they gonna
It's
be?
online, Zoom.
Oh,
via Zoom.
okay.
So yeah, the mayor's been invited and accepted. She'll be there. I will be on it. It's a Tuesday afternoon.
That's November, is that the November
November
20th?
20th. That's the DPU's public hearing. So that's their basically review for this plan that we've submitted to them. After that, they will theoretically approve or reject it or come back with, changes or whatever, but I assume, it will be approved. We shall find out, and then we'll be free to go out to bid and stuff with our plan from there. So that is the aggregation update, moving along nicely, and nothing else for us to do right now other than just let the process play out. Now, on to the electrification and efficiency programs. It's a new wrinkle here that I don't think we've really discussed in this room.
Oh, yeah.
yet, that Cassie especially and I have been working on. But let's start with the Electrify Easthampton Northampton update, because I think I saw
They
that
picked the vendor
they picked
Oh,
the
they
vendor.
did.
in phase.
Yeah, so
Right,
Revised.
that's right, revised.
Revive. So I saw Enphase and I was like, I don't recall
So
Enphase being in the mix. At the Enphase is an inverter company. Okay, so Revise
Yes.
has now been picked. Okay.
So that's the company that originally was partnering with,
Block
okay, that makes so much more
Power.
sense.
Okay, so Block Power dropped out. They picked Revise to just go
They didn't
through.
drop out, they were fighting.
Well, they were right because they laid off. a
Staffing
ton of
issues.
people. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Revise is taking the whole thing over and just going to do it. Okay, great. Well, and so that's good. And then do we know sort of an implementation timeline or anything?
I
from
don't know
them
that yet. Ben didn't seem to know it either.
Yeah.
Ben Weil is the Northampton person.
Yeah. So Ben Weil is their energy director or something. I forget his exact title.
How do you spell his name? Is it
WEIL.
Yeah. So obviously there, Northampton is involved on that side, and we've been talking about maybe having a meeting with them. Well, then so happens that there is this other thing that I found out about, which is the Mass Save Community First Partnership, which I got an email about to my work email, actually. I sent it to the mayor. I said, hey, we should maybe consider looking at this. It's a way to leverage some grant money to promote mass save programs within our community. So I looked at it. I sat through the first webinar on it. And in that, I was asking some questions at the end, and I was like, trying to figure out how we might do it, because again, we don't have the wherewithal to put an application together. It so happened that a woman, Gabi from Northampton, was on the call as well, and we connected briefly there. And she said, hey, we'd be interested possibly in doing a joint proposal with you. We're already going to be working together sort of on this Electrify program.
Do you know who she is?
Gabriella Fox is her name, and she's the other person in their sustainability
Confused their titles.
office.
I can't figure
Yeah,
out who's on top of it.
Ben is in charge.
Okay.
I think he's the lead person. Anyway. Let me see if I can find their actual titles. But in the meantime, Gabi and I talked, and Ben as well. So we were like, yep. He was like, great. I think, we were looking at maybe just a part-time person. So you can ask for about a part-time person or a full-time person. They're offering up to about $85,000 a year for a 3-year grant in the Mass Save Community First Partnership.
Now I'm confused. We would be hiring someone?
Yes, so you're hiring what is called an energy advocate to work in your community to advocate and promote these programs and promote people getting into the programs. So again, it's a way that they're trying to just get more people, get more eyes on the Mass Save
I
programs
see. Wow,
across the
that's
board.
fabulous.
Yeah, it's good. Get rid of
Connie, I'm going to send you I have their titles here.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Okay.
Yes, she's the Energy and Sustainability Officer. And Ben is the,
Director of Climate Action and Project Administration.
Would you send it to me? And
Yes, of course.
yeah. So Ben's idea, trying to get nutshell this here, is He's like, okay, great. Well, I'd love to partner with you. He's like, and I think if we could get a third community involved, then we would probably be able to justify going after a full-time person, possibly.
Good.
So he mentioned Williamsburg and Westhampton as a couple of places that he had contacts and people that he knew might be interested. At this point, we have brought in Westhampton to the mix as well.
And they are interested.
They are interested, but this is where you're going to probably talk about it getting messy. Gavi has already been working on the proposal to get this sent out. So Northampton's taking the lead on the proposal. Lindsay from the mayor's office has been involved in a conversation with them to talk about logistics and benefits and how this person gets paid and what we think we need, and all this sort of stuff. Westhampton went to their town select board to try to get their buy-in and figure out what they need. I probably am not fully caught up on that part of the email thread. So Gavi's trying to solicit input on this proposal so that we can get it. It's a November 1st deadline. So it's a November 1st deadline coming up kind of fast, end of next week. Why don't you, Cassie, take us through the current
I'm off
state of
this week,
things?
so I finally got around to reading the grant document as it is now. It's extremely siloed.
He's going to tell you, Josh.
I didn't hear that, Josh.
He muted himself well.
I muted myself. You might have felt it though.
All the detail is in I can't criticize her for this, but all the detail is on the Northampton side, and each section ends basically, and Easthampton will too. And I suggested that perhaps that we might want to present a more integrated proposal that looks like we're all holding hands and singing Kumbaya.
Mm-hmm.
And that was met with a feel free to write what you want.
Right.
Have you seen
I looked through the initial draft and thought I'd like to be able to flesh some of this out more, and I'd like to find some time to do that.
good luck?
Yeah. Well,
Which part? Finding
shades
time
of-
or getting involved?
Shades of my letter from the future.
I think
It's so hard to do this stuff.
yeah, but this, I mean, at least just to talk about, what we're doing as a community already, or thing. I don't know, just to try to flesh it out. I mean, the good thing is Lindsay took the lead on getting a letter for the mayor to sign off on to say that we're bought in with this with them. I think it'll be very clear that they're the lead organization. They have paid staff to deal with this and all that. And us and Westhampton do not. And so, but I think again, especially because we can point to the Electrify Easthampton Northampton thing already happening. I think even if we don't have a ton of detail, I think we can make it come through that Northampton's going to have the bulk of the customers for this sort of thing anyway, just because they're bigger than Westhampton and Easthampton
I
put
don't
together.
get why Westhampton's involved. Not that I have anything against Westhampton,
Mhm.
but they don't have any environmental justice population.
Yeah, well, this isn't required. Mass Save doesn't require environmental
Well, why are
justice
we even
population.
spending any resources on them then?
I have to
To
go.
get the grant.
Okay.
So then I thought the idea was
Give
that
us
they thought
2
that
more minutes.
A few
free
minutes,
would
and then I
help.
really do
No,
have
you
to
just
go.
said, that's wrong information. What were you saying? About what's the reason for looking for?
He had.
Well, because we thought we'd be able to get to a full-time position as
Oh,
well.
okay.
And with a full-time position, it becomes more attractive to put out
Right.
there and be able to hire somebody versus a part-time role.
Right.
I mean, even a part-time role with benefits, because it's just going to make you more competitive to be able to find this energy advocate person. Because, ideally you're looking for a brand new person. You're not just adding duties to somebody that's already, experienced. And even if we have a sustainability coordinator, this would be separate from that, probably working in conjunction with them. And we've talked about even having this person have office space in Easthampton, for at least part of the time where they would spend part of their time here. I think that's another key thing. If we have that in there, that they're going to spend time between the communities. Why Westhampton's in there, especially if we're not getting to a full-time person at this point. I think it's just we've already started down that road.
And
So
you
it's
can't stop.
to pull them out of it now. I mean, it adds a little bit of value. It adds some geographic value and certainly they probably have people that can take advantage of Mass Save.
Yeah,
Not as much on the business.
everybody can.
Yeah, everybody can. So, there'll be a smaller part of it.
Well, then I'm going to back off and just leave Gubby to her document.
Okay.
Unless you think.
I'm gonna try to spend a little bit of time. If I can get an hour or two, even to just read through it again and write up some stuff to say, hey, here's what more, we can add to this, I think.
There's this weird section that bothers me about Smith College and how the Smiths, they have 9,000 students or whatever, and these kids, really want to know this information. They live in dorms, for God's sake.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Smith already has a geothermal
Underway.
heating. No, it's done. We've
Done?
part, like, as far as I
Okay,
know.
maybe you and I can spend a little bit of time to just go
Yeah, I
through
know
and
the
talk
section
through our
with the,
concerns. Maybe we can
little
put our heads
grants.
together for half an hour at some point. I know she's trying to get it done and.
Oh, yeah.
I know she wants
And I
to,
should have read it 2 weeks ago. but-
well, well, hopefully we can, say, hey, can you give us, to the end of this week to get you some feedback that still gives them a whole week to put all together and submit it. So let's see if we can do that at least, and maybe even we can get a little, you said you're off this week, and I have some flexibility in my schedule later in the week, so
Okay.
maybe like Wednesday or something, we
Okay.
can spend a little time. All right, and I know Connie's gotta go. So say for that, Cassie and I will work on getting that together. That's gonna be out the door by the time we meet again. If anybody else is interested in seeing the proposals.
I'd be interested in seeing it,
Okay.
just so I
I
understand.
could share it with
We
you
can
guys.
share, we can share that with you all.
You can share with all of us. You just
Yeah, we'll share it with everybody and we'll let them know.
Not
that
you.
We'll let them know that
No.
we're reviewing it as a committee and that we want to try to get, if they can give us a few days to get any, additional content and feedback to them, that would be useful that we just talked about it today.
Could you share the grant announcement or application?
We'll share as
announcement
much-
along with any guidelines the
Yes.
state or CEC provides?
Yeah, there's a website that has the info, they had a couple webinars about it.
So far as at Northampton's, is your sense that Northampton would share the resources of this person in the same proportion as we're trying to share the electrification?
That probably seems
by
about right.
population?
About 2/3, 1/3.
If we're gonna help justify them getting any staff person, whether it's half or full-time, it's gonna be based on our population, and therefore it seems like the
Well, it would be
benefit.
based on us contributing financially to it as well. I mean,
Yeah.
the grant would cover some of it, but there's like a
Yes,
benefit
right,
question,
right.
so talk about would the benefits,
Right.
how would we contribute to that? So that's all part of the discussion. Okay.
You
So,
guys shared it.
yeah.
Can we discuss our meeting time online? Is that considered a
We
breach
can
of?
discuss meeting times. We can deliberate on that.
Okay, why don't we do that?
Okay, I'm sorry that Mondays are probably.
I apologize too, but I have a commitment that I can't get out of, so.
So I did just quick speed run. This will be on the video. So we can then add this to the
Okay.
minutes.
If
just
someone
real
wants to
quick.
take some notes and pass them to
Yeah,
us.
nothing is going to be
That's fine.
crucial here. The school bus legislation, I know Sam finally did get back.
Yeah, well, that's stagnating again as far as working together. We had a meeting, we had a phone conversation and, went over what the next steps might be, and I proposed, we start splitting,
Bye-bye.
take care, splitting some stuff up. You do some of this, I'll do some of that, and then I got back to them to share what I found, and 10 days, 2 weeks later, I've not heard anything or anything back on that. So I just started, I spoke with the Holyoke School's finance director about their grant. I tried to get a hold of, I'm going on a limb here, but they can kick me out of the project or kick me off the committee or something, but this isn't going anywhere if we don't do some of the work.
Right.
We're not making decisions. In any case, we know that whatever we come up with and propose, it's going to have to go back to the school committee for approval. I'll just keep Sam informed by email of what I'm doing. But I contacted them. I checked on the grant, the latest EPA grant cycle, which you have to have applications in by January 9th, which is too soon for us to do anything. I found out that we would be eligible. because because of this, Title something 9 title program where we get food lunch assistance from the federal government because of income issues.
Okay.
Gathering information and hoping that Sam will participate in that. Though I do remember, one last thing is I do remember when Megan wrote back to us saying in July that we've appointed Sam Hunter as a transportation liaison. She did say, yeah, please keep me in the loop, keep me informed, so maybe I'll do it that way.
Definitely keep her on there too, for sure. Okay, let's see, the EV infrastructure, I did put the thing here for EV chargers on Main and Union, just because you had mentioned it from the edict, and, certainly, I think I reintroduced to the fact that by 2035, like Massachusetts, like all new vehicles will have to be electric or something like that. Is that the law?
I think so.
Yeah, that's the goal. So the more, I don't know that anybody has any ideas for that other than the fact that we would like them. And I don't have an update on the proposal from East Coast Renewables about adding, those extra chargers in either. I need to get an update on that. If there's been any movement with that from the city standpoint. Last I knew, again, the solicitor and I, had talked with them, but I hadn't seen anything further. So, I don't know that we have too much to deliberate there right now. Not a whole lot of action items for that unless something comes out of the woodwork. And we've talked about we did the Sunwell thing already. And then the other business I mentioned that we added the Clean Energy Climate Action Group meeting, which I think was John, you and Cassie, that was shared via email. And
You're talking about via the Pioneer Valley Planning Commission?
Yeah, I think that one that was got hold of some people who identified somebody on there. Right? So do you want to just update on what's on?
It was just a show and tell kind of thing. Mimi Kaplan is in charge of that. I knew her from previous existence, but she's planner dealing with energy stuff there now among the one that onto this topic. And so there were a couple towns that were participating. It wasn't big participation, but I think they want to play the role of kind of clearinghouse, be good for any community in their area to let Pioneer Valley Planning know what's going on, participate in those meetings. This is around electrification and heat pumps. Let them know what's going on in their community. So, they can be a vehicle to share it out back to other communities in the area. They seemed interested. In particular, they had the presentation from the Heat Smart Alliance. Heat Smart Alliance is willing to try to help if Pioneer Valley can pull together enough interest or any one community in having a new heat coach training session that's in our area.
Mm-hmm.
But I've been working a little bit with Eric Broadman over at Northampton, who's also a Heat Smart Alliance member, but he's working with their little group on coaching and trying to get a coaching group together in Northampton. And he'd like to work with us especially if it came to combining maybe these other two grants that we're kind of either already involved in, may get involved with, maybe also a structure to work within, but he'd like to combine to get people coach trained, heat pump coach trained, maybe between the towns if possible. He and I are actually working our way through the online Heat Smart Alliance training. That's we're about close to done with it.
Okay.
And theoretically, you can get. You might have to answer some questions afterwards, but after you do that training, then they put you through a little process and probably say you're a coach.
Okay.
But
yeah, and then between a sustainability coordinator and an energy advocate, and then there's certainly a lot of avenues for promotion, and there's things we want to make sure everyone's coordinating well between all that stuff.
I would just the thought on this grant possibility we're working on is just a lot of stuff's happening. A lot of it, comes in from the outside and instigates a flurry of activity to respond to it. And it's great. We got to take advantage of those things. But when we're doing that, I think let's refer back to our climate action plan and think about
Right.
how to leverage these grant things, to do what we want to do, not to just go, be going off and doing what they want us to do, which isn't easy necessarily, but
Right.
so.
Yeah, I mean,
We
in some
haven't had
cases
that
there's
long
obvious
discussion.
alignment, but
Yeah.
but it helps to highlight which of these items that we've already targeted in the climate action plan does this align with?
Yeah.
Again, I think there's, some easy and obvious ways that it does, but it makes sense to actually make those connections and call it out.
Yeah.
And that's again, something, we might want to highlight in this grant proposal as we're going back to them and saying, we can at least put some language like, hey, Easthampton just finished a climate action plan.
Not mentioned, yeah.
Right, and here's the action items that we've identified that this aligns with. And so
Yeah.
that's why, one reason we want to do this and why it's important to us. So that's something that we can try
That's a
to
good point.
add. Yeah, so let's make that connection in there. And along with, some of these other things that we're doing, right? We can talk about our municipal aggregation. We can talk about, some of the other pieces that we're doing, the climate leader designation that we're going for, that we've already applied for. So,
Just a quick clarification from what you know, that proposal with Northampton, the community partnership.
Yeah.
Sorry if I'm talking too soft, Ross.
No,
So is there also another emphasis again on this person dealing with low and moderate income primarily, or is it just general outreach?
yeah, so they ask you to identify specific target populations or groups, and there's a whole potential there, but what Ben and Gabi have honed in on is the tenants, I think, and like 1 to 4
Landlords, yeah.
landlords and like the 1 to 4
1 to 4,
family,
5 to
and then 5 to, like sort of the, so especially, landlords on those sides of things. So it's in some cases, maybe not the tenants specifically, but it also is targeting the types of housing that those people, lower and middle income people would live in. That maybe again slip through the cracks of this a lot of times. So we had discussions around that initially in the conversations that we've had around what do you think makes the most sense for your community in terms of target populations or targets for these. So that's what we've settled on so far. And when you review it, you'll see that language in the proposal.
It's exciting.
Yeah, it is. It's nice. It was nice to be able to get them excited. They were already excited, but be able to, excited about partnering with us and then making more sense for them to do that versus going it alone. And certainly, we don't have the capacity to go it alone, really. So it allows us to leverage.
Before we've got a sustainability coordinator.
Yeah, and even then, who knows? We need a planning department and a sustainability coordinator. Yeah, we need a liaison to the city. So. All right. Well, thank you for sharing the info from that meeting. Anybody have anything else to cover or share or discuss today? Yeah. Our next couple of meetings are theoretically already scheduled for Mondays. I've talked to Connie a little bit more about the issues there. We can certainly change them. Look at other days or options. Mondays are the best day for me, but I can make other times work. So we'll have that discussion and figure out if we need to move anything. All right, then I think we're at the end here. Anybody like to motion to adjourn?
so moved.
Josh, get this one. Do I have a second?
Me.
Seconded. It's been moved and seconded.
Left out of both adjournment.
All in favor, say aye.
Hey, hey.
Meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Take care, everyone.
This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.